that's going to be about resets. Anytime you feel distracted, or if you feel like you're getting off course with your feelings, if they change, I've learned this by pushing the record button and starting to feel different because I pushed the record button. Obviously, because something's staring at you the entire time, and then your mind can drift off into all types of directions, and it all just depends on what's influencing you. So this is about pushing reset and starting over. Even if the road seems to be a little bumpy and you need to get to a clear path, just then if anything starts to bother you, anything at all, straight ahead, straight ahead, straight ahead. If you make videos, this would help as well, because it is AI staring at you. There is a magnetic force going from this area over here to around here. I feel it. I feel it like that. It's right here. There may be something to it. Like there's a recording button. It's like recording, and it's like drawing your energy to it. Which it does. It definitely does do, because if you're not going to be yourself on camera and off camera, the way you feel, the way you can express yourself, then just reset and start over. Don't let that forced feeling of judgment inside of your own spirit take control of you. These are things I've battled with, and these are things that I've realized that they've just shaped my life into doing things that I'd rather do something else other than that. But you get sucked into it, because you need to take time to stop and think. You need to sever the way the path is going when you're on a mindset, especially when it brings up any kind of irritation, any anger, any frustration, anything that's altering your mood, as it would be if you're just, before pushing the record button, changing. If you're changing because you're in front of the camera, there's two reasons really. One, you're either just uncomfortable and you're battling with yourself still, or two, you're just not really who you are in front of the camera. But with my experience, I've learned that you can kind of tell people's hearts if they get in front of the camera enough times. And if you can't after enough times and they're not real, then that's the strong delusion that we all get a part of. Like, we've all been a part of this strong delusion. What's the lie? What is the lie? I can tell you this. There was a lady that called me her enemy yesterday because I don't comply with the laws of, well, not laws, but rules that people think are laws. They say it themselves. These are federal laws. In our store, it's our federal law. Your store's no different than any other store. So I've become an enemy just by walking in the door, being myself. It's brilliantly designed. Evil, but man, is that brilliant. Look, I'm just all about giving Satan credit where Satan deserves credit. If you can get people to do like everything that you desire for them to do, it's kind of a boring life, huh? If you can get people to do everything that you want them to do, there's no challenge. There's nobody standing up to you. It's just submission. It's like a boxer, and a boxer, do you want to go in and just beat somebody's ass, like pound their face in, and not have a challenge whatsoever? How tough can you possibly feel after you're done beating on somebody that is smaller than you? Yeah, you're okay, you can feel tough and cool and everything, but your pride inside of you is pumping you up, so you're the only one that looks like the fool. But in your own head, you're going to look like it less because you don't see it that way, but you're going to look at yourself as a badass dude because that's what you can do. But when Satan hops into the ring and he gets a challenge from anybody, well, how does that not... It's not just the challenge itself, it's the progress of the challenge. It's the rounds involved. It's the distance that the fight went and how brutal the rounds were for both of the fighters. When Satan gets his jaw punched in a couple times and he didn't truly see it coming, well, yeah, it's going to piss him off. And then he's going to swing back. And he's going to come back at you tenfold. And then when you get him again, and he didn't think you were going to do that either, after he came at you tenfold, after quite a few sucker punches, you're going to get stunned, and you're going to, even before the fight is over, you're already having a tremendous amount of respect for the spirit that's in front of you, because that's what it's doing to you, is it's fighting back without even laying a hand on you in the spiritual sense. But in the actual ring itself, I'm sure that Satan would appreciate a challenge as he's being challenged before the fight's over. You already know who's going to win. It's the way it is. There's perception on the outside, and then there's reality on the inside. Who really wins is what the reality is on the inside. If you don't see it on the outside, don't worry, it happened inside. It happens in your spirit first, and then it happens manifest in the world second. So what was my direction? Instead of drifting off because of continually talking about something and then one thing leads to another, and this reminds me of this, and I start talking about that, it's about staying on track. And if you have to stay on track and you have to take a breather and you have to stop and you have to pause, then just, even if you're not doing videos, in your life, whatever it's doing, just pause it. Like when you get a negative feeling that gives you that jolt of energy between your chest and your stomach inside of your body, those are anxious shots of thoughts that are injected by the first thought that you have that just comes to you. Whatever the first thought is that comes to you, that you go with, you run with it, and you just do it, you react off it. It goes back to eating. Your first initial thought to just grab some food is, if you can't conquer that, you will not be able to conquer any problem that you have. You can't do it. Because you need to be able to learn how to stop with the train of thought. What's the train of thought? When you're hungry and when you eat every day. Train of thought is, it could even happen to people that don't even have a weight problem. This isn't about a weight problem. This is about a mental problem. It's about something that you don't think is such a big deal. Like, no, I don't need to eat. All right, well then don't eat for 3 days. Well, nah, I mean, I'm too skinny. I'm like my kids said yesterday. You want to stop the vaping and the nicotine gum, and then after that the chewing gum, and then after that stop. All right, well that's good. It sounds good, son. But actually following through with it is another story. So I said the only way you're going to be able to stop any habits is by fasting, by not eating. I'm already too skinny. 3 days. Nope. It's just an excuse. That's all it is, an excuse. Because if you think that you're the toughest person on the planet, or you're some badass dude, well, and some people might even be badass dudes and they know how to fast, and they're UFC fighters and they can kick your ass. So they know exactly what you're saying, Robin. But you're just on another level of connection with yourself, understanding your thoughts, being focused on what you have to do, and not allowing anybody that's beside you, around you, in front of you, behind you, above you, below you, to alter what you have to do. Don't let anybody do it. Because if you're doing that, you're just letting that enemy that lives inside of you, the one that you communicated with your entire life, you and him and you, if you just stop warring with yourself, because you are both in the same vessel, right? Do you both feel like living like that in the same house? All that friction that creates negative energy and jolts of anxious feelings that just pop in your conscience just by thinking. Like, do you understand how strong and powerful your mind is? If you can make like I tell my wife this, honey, if you can make yourself so sick with the worrying and the anxious thoughts and trying to figure something out, and then you get to the point you're so exhausted you don't even feel like hearing me talk, because it's like, okay, all right, I don't want to hear it. No, that's not. You see, your enemy is attacking me, honey, and I'm sticking up for you, who's hiding over there behind your enemy. As I walk in the gates, there they are. There's like 7 of them protecting, like not really protecting you, but torturing you. But you are hiding behind them because I am now talking, and you're scared, so you're going to go hide behind them. But you're so worn out from them abusing you, and then here I come, and here they are. They're like, oh man, Robin, that's right. And then I talk through them to my wife, and my wife doesn't always like it, but I tell her when we're in a calm mode beforehand, and it's been working, that there's going to be times, honey, where I'm going to be talking through you. Just try not to get offended. It's not you. I'm talking to the enemy that you're hiding behind, that you do not stick up for yourself when it's talking to you in your head. But when I say something, oh my God, you don't want to hear it anymore, because I'm beating down the demons that are inside of her to get through to her. And then when she's already tired and worn out, and the demons are standing there, standing guard, she just wants to hide behind them. But as soon as I do that, now my wife, when she's in hiding mode, like behind the demons that are torturing her, she finally wants to listen. She doesn't want to listen to me initially, but then when I finally get through to her, then I'm able to talk to her, and then it's like I'm reeling her back in, and I got to redo all the damage that was just done with the demons beating her up, and get her to realize that's what is happening here. I got to give her visualization inside of her head that she's hiding behind these 7 demons that she gets beat up by and doesn't stick up. Like, you don't stick up for yourself. But when I'm telling you something that is right, you're fighting me because those spirits are keeping you in captivity. And so that's the way that works mentally. This is what life is. This is what it's like to be a human being. I'm just trying to explain it, how my mind works, and understanding that, well, that's how everybody's mind works. All of our minds work. Just what are you feeding it? And then what are you doing with it? And how do you think? Do you stress about things constantly? Does it bother you? Does things get you angry? Do people make you irritated? Do you want to be worshipped? Are you preserving your self-image? Or are you consciously aware that you are abusing yourself mentally with your enemy that you're not fighting off? You're allowing your other side of you. Look, if your other side could get you to jump off a bridge and kill yourself, it would do it. So just because you have this other side of you, you don't have to listen to it. How many dumb decisions can you remember that you've made throughout your entire life because you listened to the first initial thought that popped in your head, like, okay, let's do that, and then you did it, and the next thing you know, you're in jail, Robin. And again, and again, and again, and again, until you finally sit. Some people need to finally sit in prison in order to get it. But this is a prison. This world, look what it's doing. Like, if you don't know, the people don't know. Like, this is the thing. There are 99% of the people of the planet just don't know. Right? The only ones that know are the ones that hop onto these platforms like YouTube. And then some think you know, and some might think that I think I know. But I know what I know, and it doesn't matter. I'm past that point. Knowing and experiencing it is why I keep doing it day in and day out. There's revelations in everything that unfolds as you unfold it, as you create it. One of my videos, Heidi said I explained something very clear that she understood. I'm like, man, that is such a great thing to hear, because people know that Heidi, she was batshit crazy. She was batshit crazy. Now she's just shit crazy. But clearly spiritually wide awake. And if I can explain something that can get you to understand it, because what happens is your mind gets jumbled and it goes over here and over there, and it bounces on all different places. But that's what all of our minds do, because we all think. We think. But when it comes to trying to control your thoughts, again, fasting is something that slows you down to, oh, wait, no, I'm not eating. Let me do something else. And you think of the second option. And then on top of that, you're separating yourself from the flesh and you're becoming more spirit. Because the flesh is the thing that's always needy, and it's just what it is. It's starved, it's hungry, it's smelly, it's tired, it's weak, it's just whatever. It's always needing something. And when you do without because you don't need to, then you just feel better. And then you get a better connection because you start to understand your mindset. And then what happens is it's a literal peace that enters into your core right here. This is the core. You know, your heart's over here somewhere and you got your lungs and stuff, but there's like a magnetic field to the core when you're stressing about something or worried about something, or you're self-conscious about yourself, and you're giving yourself, like, here's what Satan does in your spirit. He's judging you constantly, and he'll even judge you for the things that he's doing and make it act like he's not doing it, but it's okay for him to do it, but for you it's not okay. That's your enemy. That's what we would call Satan, the spirit that runs people's lives that don't think twice. They just do it. Why do you think Nike says it? Just do it. Just do it. First initial thought. Just do it. No, just do it. Just go with it. It's not good enough that I can walk into Acme without a mask, but still get harassed, which I don't think I'm going to let that pass. But it's because of other people can't do that. It's not about me. Going into Wawa, it's more about the people that are complying because they were told that they have to. It's just like when you're at work. You know how you have there may not be people checking in on your work to see what you're doing and hovering over your shoulder, but we've all had the feeling of you feel like you need to, like, hurry up. You feel like you need to do more or something. Because why? Because you're telling yourself that. Because you're running yourself as a slave. Because you've either seen it happen to other people or it's happened to you, and then all they got to do is transfer that thought to you once and then get you to feel that way. You know, some bosses like that feeling. Some bosses like people feeling like they have to do more work and feeling like they're just not doing enough, because that way they get more production out of them. It's a smart move, but I don't agree with it, because you shouldn't have your employees feel like they're forced to do more and more and more, and they never feel like they're doing enough, because now they're feeling worthless. It's all about the mindset. And people shouldn't have to work 8 hours a day. It just shouldn't be a requirement. It should be 4. And it should only be 4. And the things that are vehicles that are $50,000, they need to be, like, free. Let's just say free. Or for those that still have work to do, all right, half price, half off. And you also make double when you work, and you only have to work less, half the less. So everything's about half and double. You got to work 8 hours, we're going to cut that in half. You only got to go to 4. You get paid $2,000 a month, well, you get paid $4,000. Now we're going to double that. We're going to double that, and we're going to cut that in half. So it's basically all about the halves. Everything it's cheaper, and you work less because people aren't as greedy, and they're opening up the floodgates of their wealth and riches because they don't need to hoard it up. That's all you're doing, is hoarding it up. And only until you finally realize that you were your own worst enemy, and Satan is the spirit. Yes, there's going to be a person that's going to be like, hey, that's it, I'm Satan. And of course, people are going to be blaming other people and accusing them of being Satan. But Satan is the spirit that runs you. And when you finally cast it out of you, it doesn't matter who you are or what position you have. If somebody doesn't like it, that's on them, and that's their life, and they have to deal with it. You just keep being yourself, which is changing, because now your new self is changing from your old self. So keep being you. Keep being yourself. Your old you gives you a self-perception. When you go throughout your day, whether you're working, whether you're not working, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're just thinking about stuff. And if you're around people, well, there's a perception of what you look like. You have a perception of what you look like through their eyes. Then you'll start to try to perceive what people are thinking about you when you start trying to tap into people's brains and care about what they think. I've been doing it my entire life, and I think it probably happened more tripping on acid at the age of 16, and then doing it again and again and again and again and again, and then day after day after day, and then, but you got to double up from what you did before, and then just tripping on acid. Why did I trip on acid? Because everybody else was doing it. I guess it was something to do. And then I did it once, and then you zone out. It's just like a dream, basically. Basically, acid is like a dream as you're awake. And it was something about being so overly aware of every single possible thing imaginable that your eyes are looking at all at the same time. And people all became the same, and they're all weird as hell. So basically, human beings are awkward and weird. And that's what you got to fight off. Fight off your awkward weirdness. Stop giving a shit about what people think in their heads or about you. You don't have to stop caring about what people think. Just stop giving an F. Get rid of the awkward weirdness that you feel wherever you are, for whatever reason it is, when you're done watching this video. And if something starts to feel awkward to you, push the reset. Stop. Wait, hold on, wait. Where did that come from? If you want to say that, or in your spirit, but recognize it. For people that have this issue, and you know what I'm talking about, but you can't explain it. Why? Because it's something that, it's like, there it goes. It's like, oh, wait, what was that? Oh man, I could have explained something, but man, I forget. And then you forget. And then what it does is it gets you again. It's kind of like being sucker punched and not even knowing where your enemy is, and not even realizing that you're like Jim Carrey punching yourself. You're punching yourself. Because your own enemy turns around. He tries to put this in your head, which is he's staring you in the face, constantly judging you, constantly. And you're not even doing anything about it. You're just believing what it's saying to you. And then that makes you feel awkward and uncomfortable. This is what every human being goes through. It's just a matter of how fast do some people recognize it, and they just don't even think about it. Like there's like my stepson, Trevor. He has that confidence in just who he is and whatever and he has a good heart, and I admire that he doesn't think. There's part of his brain that's not thinking, although it's something that is shut off in order to give him the confidence. Now, did he learn how to shut that off at an early age, or was this just something he was born with? Because some people are just born that way, but they've never experienced the other part, which is what I went through my entire life. Always tapping into people's thoughts and thinking what they're thinking for them, and reacting towards it and feeling uncomfortable because of it and awkward. And then when you finally realize, oh, well, you don't even have to do that. You can just be yourself. Let them talk. Let them speak. Let you be you. Say what you say, whatever it is. Stop trying to think of what you were going to say with whoever it is that you're talking with, or not. Just stop thinking of everything. Stay still. Stop. You can only learn to stop when you stop grabbing your hand, reaching for food into the refrigerator, or whatever habits that we have that we do every single day. It's the only way that you'll be able to get rid of your enemy. You can minimize your enemy, but to get rid of it completely, you have to do away with the thing that has you. The thing that you can't let go of, like, nah, I can't do that, but I will do this, but I'm not doing that. Well, if you're not going to do that, I will guarantee you that you will always have these enemies that control you, because it's a thought. It's a thought that controls you. It doesn't let you live your life, because you can't be yourself because of your thoughts that are running your life. If you can capture it, get rid of it, get rid of the fear, the anxiety, let it go. Understand that it's just you doing it to yourself. No matter what, day in and day out comes by. How many times do you do this to yourself? You did it yesterday. Don't you remember? You did the same freaking thing yesterday that you were giving yourself anxiety for. You remember that feeling you had? Well, what came of it today when you were worried about it yesterday? Do you forget so soon? Of course you do. That's the whole purpose. Your mind gets so many thoughts going on in your head that everything just constantly slips away and slips away and slips away and then slips away. And you want to push record, and then it slips away and that slips over there. That's why people read scripts. But when you let it flow off the top of your head, you start to become yourself. When you stop worrying about what people are thinking about you, and stop judging yourself with your own self-perception from the outside, looking at you, judging you, stop doing it. It's just you doing it. That's what Jonathan Kleck realized. It was just him doing it to himself. You have all the say in this world. Just be yourself. That's what I'd say. Just continue to be yourself.